Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany and this is my channel all about cross stitch. Please like and subscribe down below and turn on that notification bell so that way you can always get this content whenever I upload a video, and it'll help share it out to other people who will also like this kind of content. Now, this month was Mira May for me, so other than temperature stitching, I only stitched on Mirabilias this month. My goal was to see how many of my Mirabilias that I had could I complete, and how many did I have? 20 of them. I had 20 total Mirabilias as whips, and see how many that I could complete. And for every 2 I completed, I allowed myself to start one more because it's me. If I can find an excuse to start another Mirabilia, I'm gonna do it. So, like usual, we're going to go through my whips, new starts, then finishes, then haul, which isn't much at all this month because I'm trying to behave myself. And then life update, if you want to listen to life update. I think we'll go through temperature stitching first. Yeah, move that over there, that there. You know what? I'll just say, because I don't have any of it organized down here because I didn't think to. So what I'll do is I'll just grab, if it's temperature stitching, I'll let you know. All right. First one. This is Mini Victorian Garden by Dominic Davison. It is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, and this is what it'll look like when it is finished. And this is where you guys saw it last time. And here it is now. Now, I have discovered that I cannot stand parking. I'm more of a cross-country stitcher. I like to pick a color and just go with it. So that's what I'm doing. And I got 170 stitches on this, and I started this April 19th of 2022. So all I did was this stitching right here. And it is 25 count, 1/1 on this guy. So all I was doing was completing more stitches in there. And I'm trying to hold it up longer because I'm always asking you guys, what can I do better? Tell me like the things you'd like to see and things like that. So, and someone said, can I hold them up a lot longer than I have been? So I'm trying to hold them up longer than I usually do, and to get closer to the stitching. So I moved the camera. It's you guys are almost sitting in my lap. So the only problem I think I'm going to have is when it comes to showing the finished Mirabilias that I did this month, that I may not be able to get the whole thing in the screen. So I might take a picture and put a picture of it like all at once, whole in the screen. It depends. I'm going to see if I can try and get it in the whole screen. If I can't, then I've got to adjust. But we will see. And then when I did my Mirabilia parade, someone asked if I could show Goddess Garden again. And they wanted to see it up closer as well. So I have that one here, but that one was finished a long time ago. So I'll show that. I'll do that right now, actually. Ooh, and then I'm going to knock stuff all over the place. All right. So here is Garden Goddess. Let me see. Can I get you? This is one of the smaller mirrors, so I can fit it all in there. But this one is hand-dyed by me, and I finished this, I believe, last year. I could be wrong. I think I finished it last year. And it's 28 count. And then they wanted to get up real close here, but there are, I don't know, if we turn it a little bit, you can see that there are tons and tons of beads in this. Just so many, but it is absolutely gorgeous. But there it is, all nice and up close and personal for you. And I don't think this took me very long to finish. But that is Garden Goddess. And I don't really have much to say about it. It was a fun stitch. I just haven't found... I thrift my frames. I don't usually buy them. So I haven't found one that I like that will work with this one yet. But I'm sure I will eventually. Just not right now. But that was Garden Goddess. But again, that doesn't account for my finishes this month, because that was finished last year, like I said. I guess I didn't tell you guys my stats. So this month I put in 18,919 stitches, and then that brings my year total to 136,841 stitches for the year. I've finished a total of 8 projects, and I've started 10 new ones. So, but I think there's like a couple of the new ones that I started that are pretty close to being finished. So I'll probably just like pull those out and finish them pretty quickly. All right, this one I know for a fact isn't going to fit in this whatsoever. This is also temperature stitching. This one is from the Clouds Factory, and it is the Epic Princess Sal they have on there that you can get. It is, I think when I bought it, I know it was $80 some. I'm sure it's probably a little more than that now, but I think it was worth every penny. Now, I adjusted mine to have all of my children and I's favorite Disney movies in it. And I've been asked a couple different times, like, what am I going to do if, like, more Disney movies come out and they like more? Well, my youngest is 10. She just turned 10 last month. And she isn't really into watching Disney movies anymore. She likes watching, like, Transformers and superhero movies, and she liked watching Sonic. Like, she's not she doesn't really watch Disney movies anymore. But even if she did, and there's more that come out and things like that, oh well. Like, this is where it was. When did I start this? This was October 22nd of 2022 is when I started this. So, like, I believe there were more Disney movies after that date. I know Moana 2 came out. I don't think anything like brand spanking new that or anything. But anyways, it just is what it is, and these were the movies that they loved and I loved and things like that. So it just is what it is. And I realized, my son Damon pointed it out to me. He's like, Mom, you left Cars off. And because that was one of his favorite growing up. And I didn't realize that I left it off until he pointed it out. And, like, too bad, too sad it's not on here. I'm sorry. But I don't have, like, this fabric is an entire yard of fabric. I couldn't put more on here if I even tried, but I did. I screwed up and I missed one out. But anyways, so this is, like I said, from the Clouds Factory. However, mine is different. So I don't have a finished photo because I've already finished all the ones that the Cloud Factory had charted. And these are the one I am charting myself. And because they only have the princesses, and I've added like Bambi and Finding Nemo but a lot of other ones on here that, like I said, are our favorite Disney movies. But I was working on Dumbo when this was called, and I put 219 stitches in. And again, like I said, I started this October 22nd of 2022, and it is stitched on 18 count, hand dyed by me. I'm trying not to have my fingers in here, but there it is. I'm starting to get Dumbo's mom in frame now. And that's all I did, as I just worked on putting her in there. But that's that one. And then I'll open it all up for you guys, because I think they're still, if I remember right, yeah, this side of the border, I need to finish it. See how this side has little white prongs? I got to do that. And I think that's the only part of the border I've got to do that doesn't have those done. But we'll go through these. There is Snow White, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, Frozen. And I have these going from the oldest movie right to left, and then down to the very newest movie. There was Frozen, and then there's Pinocchio, Alice in Wonderland, The Little Mermaid, Pocahontas, Princess and the Frog, and then Moana. And then next, we've got Dumbo at the top once he is finished. And then will come Peter Pan, and then The Jungle Book, Beauty and the Beast, and then we have Mulan, Tangled, and then Encanto. And then that would be Bambi's, but it's not up yet. And Lady and the Tramp is not done yet. The Aristocrats isn't done yet. Here is Aladdin, and then Tarzan, and then Brave, and then Raya and the Last Dragon. So that is that, because there's no way I could get this all in there being this close. But if it's better to be this close, you guys let me know, because I just want to make sure that I'm providing the content that you guys want to watch in the best way that you guys enjoy. So that is that one. This is temperature stitching as well. You need to go there. Okay. This is In Harmony by Dimensions. And the artwork is by Colleen Bogle. And it is stitched on 14 count navy blue Aida. And this is what it'll look like when it is finished. And here is where you guys saw it last time. And this is where it is now. Now I put 336 stitches in this, and I started this December 12th of 2021. And this is the last quarter of it that I need to do. Everything else is what I think it's from like somewhere around like about here down, and here over is completely backstitch, has all the French knots in it. These are my little French knots. Some of them aren't very nice, but I'm not a perfectionist. I'm okay if they're not perfect. I think this one is just, it's sticking out because it's there. That's better. But that is what it looks like up close. Like some of my French knots are like perfect, and some of them are not. But that is In Harmony. And hopefully, I mean, it's kind of hard to see, but I can't do much about it. But it's because of how dark the fabric is. Once everything else gets in, I don't think it'll look so bad. And that was temperature stitching. I don't think I told you how many times some of these things were called. Victorian Village was called 3 times. And here's what I found. So last month I didn't get through all of them like I wanted because I had so much stuff going on. And it doesn't seem to be slowing down. But I decided instead of doing 30 minutes on each piece that I'll do 15 minutes every time it's called. And that helped out a lot because it essentially cut it in half on how much that I needed to stitch on it. And I was sort of laser focused in on my Mirabilias. And because of the neck issues I've been having, my doctor and physical therapy said I need to slow down on cross stitching and do other activities because they're not sure if that's what's causing my neck issues, which I don't think it is because I had been stitching for years before this and it's never bothered me. And I don't know what happened besides I woke up and I have, like, it's not too bad today. I can actually turn my head a decent amount today, but it's like right at the very, very, very base of my skull, and my trap muscles are extremely tight. And I don't know if you guys can see that, but they've been using cupping and everything else on me to try and help get these things to loosen up because they've put me on muscle relaxers and they keep upping the dose on that, and it's not doing anything. So my stitching is coming down. So it's kind of like I want to spend as much time as I can on the things that, it's not that I don't like working on my temperature stitching pieces, but it's just that Mirabilias are my comfort stitching, and it's something that I can pick up, put on my scroll frame, and just pick a color and just go. And I don't really have to think a whole lot about it, versus where full coverage or samplers or things like that, because a lot of the times things are mirrored from one side to the other, or I think I get mostly frustrated with full coverage because I can't really see the picture coming to life until you get quite a few stitches in before you can finally see something. Otherwise, it just looks sort of like a mess. Versus where Mirabilia, I can pick a color and go with it for a while. I can start to see the image coming together. So, I had to cut temperature stitching down because, like I said, I have to, like, usually I get closer to 30 some thousand a month, and I literally got half of what I would normally get in a month for stitching. I gotta stop messing with my hair. I've noticed that a lot in a lot of my videos, that I'm like always messing with my hair. I don't know why. Maybe it's a nervous tick. I'm not sure. But so yeah, I have to start paying attention to how much time I'm actually stitching and how many stitches, because before I could get approximately 1,500 stitches a day, and for the most part I'm hitting like 9 to some stitches. Some days I got like the lowest day I think was 53 stitches in one day. So I can usually get a lot more than that, and I've just been trying to behave myself, but I haven't noticed a difference in my neck from when I was stitching constantly to now when I'm not. Like, I might stitch for an hour a day. Sometimes I might stitch for maybe 15 minutes, and that might be only working on the temperature stitching that day, but I haven't noticed a difference. But hopefully, I can start getting some sort of relief because I'm over it. Anyways, all right, this is temperature stitching. I wish I had like more room to like stick stuff around me so I didn't have to bend down, but I don't have the room. Okay, so this is, turn the page. This is temperature stitching. This is Yorkshire Terrier. This is a Riola's kit, and many of you guys know or should know we have 2 little Yorkie puppies, huh, Cam? We're letting their hair grow out so they look wild and crazy, but they need their bath. Oh, I disturbed her. Now she's gonna want love. But That's why I'm stitching this, because this one will go up in my home, and I know nobody's going to ask to have it, and I'm not going to give it away because it's my puppies. And this one that I'm doing somewhat looks like camp, but not quite. But it is the Reolist kit, and it uses those acrylic threads. I know that I found that I don't know if it's the texture of them, or like whenever I'm pulling it through, kind of like the sound it makes. I don't know. It just kind of makes me, they're not bad to work with, but it's not my cup of tea. Like, I would prefer to use, cotton threads. She just kicked me right in the stomach, right below your rib cage. Little stinker. She's like, pay attention to me. So yes, this is Yorkshire Terrier, and this is what it'll look like when it's finished. And this is where you guys saw it last time. And here it is now. So this one I put 76 stitches in, and I started it July 1st of 2024. Oh, I didn't even realize that I left that sitting on top. And I know I was working on over here for sure. I mean, it's kind of see-throughy. Hold on. There we go. But yeah, so I was working on this area right here, and there's a bunch of like the dog's sitting in like a bed. So I'm gonna get it in the bed. And this has all different kind of stitching. Some of it is 2/2, some of it is 1/2, some of it is half crossed with so many strands, and so on and so forth. So just doing it exactly as the pattern calls for. But yeah, that is Yorkshire Terrier. Let's see if I can get it up nice and close for you guys so you guys can see all those stitches. But that is that one. I'm going to fold it a little differently because I see that I'm getting some creases in there, and I don't want that to happen. So I always fold them up different every time I go and put them back inside their bags. All right. This one is also temperature stitching. This is Indian Peacock by Dimensions, and artwork is by Suzanne Nicole. 14 count natural Aida. And this is what it'll look like when it is finished. And this is where you guys saw it last time. And here it is now. Now, all I did was back stitching. I am back stitching this whole section here that I've completed. And I think I've made it somewhere, like, I think from here over now is completely back stitched. So I'm just going section by section there and back stitching. So I don't have any, like, how many stitches I've done, because I don't count my back stitching stitches. And I wish this camera would quit doing that. So I don't have any of that information. And August 22nd of 2024 is when I started this. And I forgot to tell you, Yorkie was called one time, and this peacock was called twice. But this is up close and just doing as the pattern calls for. And slowly getting in here all of these stitches. And this one is also getting funny creases in it from being stuck in there for a while. And of course, this is that, I think I said it was 14 count natural Aida, but this is, of course, the dimension fabric. Usually I take it and I will dunk it in water and then iron it, so that way it's not so stiff, but I didn't do it to this one, and I should have. All right, next one. This is temperature stitching as well. Maybe my other stitching is the whole way down at the bottom. I don't know. This one is Pin Up Girls by Soda Stitches. And this is what it will look like when it is finished. This is what it looks like the last time you saw it. And this is what it looks like now. I really wish it would quit doing that. But this one is stitched on 32 count. Yes, 32 count. I started this one August 16th of 2024. It is just on regular white fabric. And I put 80 stitches in it this month. And she's still soulless looking, no eyeballs. And I know I did some in her hair this month. I know that's what I was working on. And I think some of the white stitches at the top, I believe. Hopefully this is close enough. I think so. I mean, you can really get in there. You can't really get too much closer. Hopefully you can see it good enough. I'm trying. So yeah, that is that one. And she was called, how many times were you called this month? Once. So she was only called one time. And that is that one. And then, so done it, done it, done it. I only have, yeah, temperature stitching is all on the top. So I don't know what the heck I was worried about. I mean, I didn't organize it, but that is that. Okay, this one is Pokemon Generation 2. I got this pattern off of XC. Forest Designing is where I got it from. This is 28 count. This is what it'll look like when it's finished. And this is where you guys saw it last time. And this is where it is now. Pull it all back. So I got, how many stitches did I get in this? 371. And it was called 7 times. And I started this July 25th of 2022. And it is stitched on 28 count, doing 1/1 full cross. And I finished this row, and then I was trying to decide, do I go back and add all the color in this row, or do I continue doing outlines? And I decided to continue doing outlines, so that way I can just keep going. And then once I get, because I know this is all the outlines down here. So once I get all the outlines done, then I can sort of like pick up a color and just go like crazy and stitch as many of that color in this section I'm doing. So that way I don't have to switch threads as much. I mean, I'll have to start and tie off, you know, a lot of threads, but it won't be as bad. But yep, I can get you guys up as close as I can here to these guys. But yeah, my kids are starting to ask me, when are you going to finish this, Mom? It's just kind of like, you know, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Just give me a second. It doesn't, you know, happen overnight. And I'm not going to show the bottom row. There's nothing really to see on the very bottom row. All right. So that is that one. And I only have like, I think 7 of the generations of this one of Pokemon that they want me to do. Yeah. Crazy. But what do? You know, you just do it. All right, here is another temperature stitching. This is Pavion for These Times by Log Dog Sampler. And this is what it'll look like when it's finished. And this is where you saw it last time. And here it is now. I stitched, let's see, can I get it over here? I stitched over here. I know, I'm almost finished with this motif. And I put 274 stitches in this. I started it July 10th of 2022, and it is stitched on 25 count, doing 1/1 full cross. So that is that one, and I'll get you guys up nice and close. And this one is done with Painter's Thread 109 Picasso. I'm not going to show you the rest of the border because it looks the same. But that is that one, and Pavion was called for 4 times. And this is what the threads look like. Right here. One is, this one here is actually a 12 weight, sort of like a sulky. That's what it reminds me of. And this one here is a regular embroidery floss, the 6-stranded embroidery floss that we use. So that's what those look like. All right. Next one. This is also temperature stitching. Oh, and then I just chucked a bunch of stuff on the floor. I knew it. This is Pledge of Allegiance by the Cross Stitch Studio. I can't think of who the artwork is by. But this one I put 253 stitches in. And again, I'm just right here getting all this black in. And then once I get the black the whole way up to the edge here, then I'll start grabbing the other colors and filling them in. And then I'll go through and fill in all the stars. Once I get there. This one is done on 28 count. And I started it September 30th of 2022. This is the one that my husband absolutely loves. We have his grandfather was a Vietnam veteran, and it goes on his, he has a little wall here of sort of like a little like memorial piece because his grandfather was pretty much like his father. But this is it. So that is Pledge of Allegiance. And I'm doing it 1/1 full cross. Because my brain doesn't quite compute with tent stitch like other people. I wish it did because it would make my life a lot easier. But it doesn't really click in my brain. Now everything's fallen off over here. Okay. Last temperature stitching piece. Pull the rest of these over here. No, don't you fall down again. You mind your business and stay right here. Okay. This one, I don't even think, like, I forgot to show you a picture of what it'll look like when it's finished or where you guys saw it last time. But I would have already stuck all that in here. All right, so this is Fairy Tale Village by Arborist Arts. It comes in a kit. If you do not get this piece, and if you get this piece and it's not in a kit, it is a knockoff version. But I switched out the kit Ada for 25 count because I think it was 14 count it came with, if I remember right. And no thank you. But I started this. Well, this is what it'll look like when it's finished. And this is where you guys saw it last time. And this is where it is now. I was working all up in here. And Pledges of Allegiance was called for 4 times this month. But anyways, back to Fairy Tale Village. I absolutely love the Victorian era. I like the aesthetics and styles that they had, and especially the architecture in Victorian period. And I love like their I guess they would be more like ball gowns and evening dresses and things like that. I think they were just, like things were really starting to boom, and like some of them even have like lights in them. Some of them have birds on top of their head. Like it's crazy and it's insane. And I just think it's one of the to me, it's one of the most interesting times of American history besides the Civil War era, because I just think it's fascinating. Anyways, so I started this July 25th of 2022. It is stitched on 25 count and it is done 1/1 full cross. And I put 213 stitches in it this month. And like I said, I put them all in up in here. You guys could better see the difference than I can, but I know I put like some of these little houses in up here and I know I got some more of the grassy area in here put in, and I will get you guys up as close as I can. And again, I'm just stitching this however it's called for on the pattern. So there are some half cross that requires 2 strands, some requires 1 strand, some backstitch requires 1 strand, some backstitch requires 2 strands. And so whatever it's telling me to do is what I am doing. Now I went through this piece and did all of the half crosses first, so that way I didn't mess it up in my brain. But I already did, like, these are all half cross up here, and I know there's, like, if I go like this, like, there's more half cross way far away from where I'm at that's also done. But yeah, so that is that one. Hopefully I held it up long enough for you guys. I'm trying my best, guys. I am. But that is that one. And I love it whenever you guys tell me things that I can do better or things that you would love to see or things like that, because, you know, I want to make this an enjoyable channel for you guys to watch. All right. Now, let's start with my whips that are now Mirabilia stitching. So originally this month, I had pulled this one out. I had pulled Stone Roses out, thinking that, oh, I could probably finish this, right? Which, I mean, if this was the only one I worked on and I just continued going on it, I probably could. And then I thought about modifying some of the pattern, maybe not doing all of it, maybe just doing the end of the blue swash and things like that at the very bottom of it. And then I was like, no, I really want to finish like the whole thing. And so I put in 315 stitches on this and then was just like, I'm just not feeling it. And if I finish this, it's probably going to be the only one I finish this month. And I wanted to finish more than just one. So then I started going through my other Mirabilias and started pulling out some that I know I could definitely finish this month. And I did that. But anyway, so this is Stone Roses by Mirabilia. And this is what it'll look like when it's finished. And this is what it looked like the last time you guys saw it. And this is what it looks like now. This one's going to be harder to fit in the frame. Which way am I going? There we go. I'm trying not to hit this microphone, but I'm not exactly used to it yet. So this is Mirabilia Stone Roses. It is going on 28 count, 2/2. The whole entire thing is done 2/2. And this is fabric I hand dyed myself. And it looks crazy. And what I worked on this month is this part right over here. Trying to get that in. But here she is in all of her glory. And I always backstitch and bead before I move. Like I finish the full crosses in a section and then I backstitch it and then I bead it as I go. So that way, once it gets rolled up, my hands are touching it less and less. And it's also the reason why I start from the top. So that way my hand isn't, as I'm stitching, my hand isn't resting on my stitches to get more gunk on it. But hopefully that was close enough. But that is Mirabilia Stone Roses. And I started this one July 23rd of 2023. And I think that's my oldest Mira. Yeah, that's my oldest Mirabilia. Okay. Now, put this one back. Because I like to try and handle my work as little as possible. Just because, like, hand-dyed fabrics I don't wash. So I don't want to get my grubby fingers all over it. All right, these next two are new starts. And we'll start with this one first. All right, this one is Mirabilia White Christmas. And this is what it'll look like when it is finished. And this is where I got to. That is not a big dark spot there. That is just the fabric buckling on me. It's not dark, I promise. It's the same shade as the rest of it. See? It's just creating a shadow. Okay, so I put 1,174 stitches in this, and I started at May 21st this month. Well, I guess last month, because today's June 2nd. And like I said, you know, there's a lot of back stitching in there too that I didn't count. But that is how far I got on it. And it is 28 count, hand dyed by me, and it'll be done like I do all my other Mirabilia. Scan will be done 1/1 full cross, and the rest of it will be done 2/2. But that is that. And I can't wait to really get into the girl. Wait to get into the lady on this one, so I can make some progress. All right, here is my last whip I worked on. The rest of them I finished this month. Okay. This is Mirabilia Yellow. I don't see a lot of people stitch her, but this is what she will look like when she is finished. And this is where I got to. She is going to be stitched on some yellow fabric. And I mean yellow. And skin is done 1/1 full cross. And the rest of her is done 2/2. And I don't know if I can get any closer with the skin. Let's see. Yeah, you can get in there. But I got pretty far. Now this is 28 count, and I started her May 24th. And I got 2,933 stitches done on her. And I was trying so hard to try and get at least all that skin done, and then I just didn't get it all done. So the next time I pick her up, that will be what I work on. And I think I said that this fabric is hand dyed by me. Of course it is. But it's a very yellow fabric. It's not like as yellow as my shirt. Like if I go like this, like you can see that it's not as yellow as my shirt. But it's definitely yellow. All right, the rest of these are finishes. And I believe on Instagram, I showed you guys 2 of these. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's at Brittany Cross Stitches on Instagram. That's how you'll find me. All right, so let me move all this stuff. Which one did I finish first? So this was the first one I finished. This is Mirabilia, the Baker's Wife. But this is a conversion done by Renee Simpson, if I remember right. Hold on. There we go. It's a little curled up from me, it being curled for so long. And I started this April 29th of 2024, and I finished it May 5th of 2025. And she is done. And this whole thing is just done 2/2. And we've got lots of beads. There is, in this conversion, there's absolutely no krennic in it at all. And that is what she looks like when she's all finished. And I got a thread here. But, yep, I finished her. That is finish number 1. And I got to roll her back up because once I finish them, I don't fold them anymore because I've stained them. And I don't want them to get folds in them from being folded. So I roll them in a tube, just like this, to keep the wrinkles out of them. Okay. And then the next one I finished was this one. This is, oh, and it's doing the same thing. This is Mirabilia, the Duchess of Rowan. And this is a conversion I've done myself. I even found the perfect little blue butterfly treasures to throw on here for her. And I did my own conversion for this one. And there are so many, let's see, lots of beads. But they are so beautiful. And then there's the bugle beads. And I think she looks perfect. Not bad at all. But that is the Duchess of Rowan. 28 count. It's not dyed at all. And I started this one May 6th of 2024. And I finished it May 13th of 2025. This wasn't the next one I finished. I looked at the start date and not the finish date. Right? Or is it the next one? Hold on. No, this was the next one I finished. No, it's not. No, it's not. Don't mind me. I obviously can't read today. But that is the Duchess of Rowan. And she is now complete. So that is finish number 2 that I completed this month. And then this one was the next one I finished. This one is Mirabilia, the Rose of Sharon. And I did finish her. Now, I was going to fill in these columns and everything else. But when I finished her and she was done, I was just kind of done stitching her. I was done. And I really didn't think that she looked bad at all. I thought she looked perfectly fine without the columns filled in. And I just wanted her to be done. So I did. I finished her. This is the Rose of Sharon. And I started this. Of course, I covered that up when I don't have any freaking hands. I started this one July 30th of 2024. And I finished it May 9th of 2025. So she is done. And I can send the pattern back to my friend and give her back her pattern that I've been borrowing, because I borrowed a couple of her OOP charts because I'm naughty. Well, I'm not naughty, but that is that one. All right, that is finish number 3, and this is finish number 4. This is Mirabilia, the Mermaids of the Deep Blue. Yep, Mermaids of the Deep Blue. And I finished them. And I will say that whenever I'm stitching these, if they have treasures, like this one has, let me see if I can, like this here, that's a treasure, and there's more treasures up in here. I do not stick the treasures on or the big pony beads until the very end, because I don't want to crush them and risk breaking them. So those I will save to put in at the very end. But this one is stitched on 28 count, 2/2. Rose of Sharon is stitched on 32 count. This one is 28 count, and the whole thing is stitched 2/2. And I'm trying not to make you guys seasick, but completely finished. And let's see, I started this one May 11th of 2024 and finished it May 22nd of 2025. So a little over a year this one was in there. But they're finished. And that was all of my finishes this year. I almost folded that, and then I thought better of it. And I was like, that's a finish, Brittany, not one that goes back in a bag. So I got 4 total finishes in 1 month of Mirabilias, and I think that's pretty stinking good. And of course, that fabric is hand dyed by me. And I'm gonna, like, look at all this extra fabric at the very bottom. I'm gonna have to cut that all off. Gonna have to cut it all off. Okay. So if that's all you wanted to watch, you don't want to see haul, thank you. I will see you again next month. But before you guys leave, here's the thing. I want to know, do you guys prefer me doing videos once a month, or would you prefer it done every other week? So every 2 weeks, or do it like a video on the 1st and then the 15th of every month. So that way, you know, it's not exactly, it's, you know, halfway through and then the whole month. If you do, comment down below and tell me which one you prefer. Okay, now you guys can go, because now I'm going to get into haul, and I appreciate you hanging out with me, and I'll see you either in 2 weeks or a month, depending on what everybody votes for, because I know there's a lot of Flosstubers, and I don't want to overwhelm people with stuff to watch. Okay, now we're going to go to haul, and I literally bought 2 things, and that was it. I bought Christmas Visit. I love this one. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. It bugs me that the photo isn't sitting in there, right? But nothing I can do about it. But that is Christmas Visit. Why is it so dark? There we go. Why does it keep doing that? And this one is Catch the Wind. I think this is adorable. This one here, though, like, I could fill out, like, some of these dresses. Like, I might, like, she's heading in. Like, I could add a little girl here. No problem. In with this. And adjust the coloring and stuff for it. So, there's a couple patterns I have that have little girls in it and stuff like that. I wish there was a couple with little boys in it. But I might adjust these and stick, like, some little girls in places. Adjust patterns. But those are the only 2 things that I bought this month. And that is it. Now, if that's all you wanted to see, goodbye. Let me know what you think down below, whether or not you want to see me on either every 2 weeks or on the 1st and the 15th or just once a month. Just let me know. Okay. As for life update, I got all the spring cleaning done at Grandma Joanne's finished. I had to help her put her drapes up and things like that. They ended up getting wrinkled, which the way she does it, I'm not sure how they ended up wrinkled, but they ended up wrinkled a little bit. So we had to pull them back down, and then I had to iron them for her and then put them back on because she has, like, giant valances along with the drapes and everything else. So it's like a big to-do whenever we do this. And it's, these are silk drapes, and I forget, I don't know, but they're really nice drapes, but you have to be careful whenever you're ironing them and everything. But we got them up, and they were perfectly done. Lydia went to the health fair. She had fun there. Did I say that I finished Mermaids of the Deep Blue May 22nd? I think so, because I was like, oh, a little over a year. But anyways, the 2 yellow rose bushes that I bought in February that I've been taking inside and outside and inside and outside and nursing them, because whenever I got them, they weren't even a bush. They were literally like this big. And of course they were, because, you know, it was winter in Pennsylvania at that point. So I got those, and I've been taking them inside and outside since February. I put those into my flower beds. This is all on Mother's Day weekend. Well, on Mother's Day. They couldn't argue with me. It was Mother's Day. I told my husband, it's Mother's Day. You get your butt out there and you dig me a hole. So that way I could put these bushes in it where I wanted. And then I have Grandma Joanne, 2 years ago or 3 years ago. I think it was 3 years ago. She gave me a single cone flower, and I planted it in my garden. And then the next year I had, like, this big bushel of cone flowers. It was like this big around from just one single plant. And then last year it was humongous. It was huge. So I needed to break that apart. And I noticed that my irises last year were choking out all my flowers in the front of my house, flower beds at the front of my house. And like even taking out the hostas that were out there, they were just wiping out everything. So last fall, I had my husband go behind our garage. There used to be an alley there, before they built we call it the 4 lanes. It's 4 lanes of traffic right behind our house. There used to be an alley behind our house. So um, that swipe of land where our garage sits now doesn't grow grass very nicely because we constantly have rocks coming up through the ground. And no matter how much topsoil and how much we've tried to dig the rock out, it's just coming back and coming back and coming back. So it doesn't grow, particularly like right behind our garage. It's probably about a 2-foot space that it just doesn't grow grass at all. It's like a barren. So I had my husband go out there and rototill that up, and then I went through and I picked out all the stones that were right there, and then I took all the irises out of my front beds and stuck them all back there because they're irises. If it's a little rocky or whatever, they don't care. They're going to grow on top of it. Those things will grow like bad weeds, and they will spread constantly. And we're only right now about a foot away from the garage, but give it 3-4 years and that whole area will be taken up by irises, and then we won't have an ugly spot in our yard that we can't get it to. Like we've we've rototilled it up a million one times, pulled out stone left and right, brought topsoil and rototilled that and put compost and all kinds of stuff to that area, seeded it every single stinking year for can't even tell you how many years on end. And no matter what we do, just from the kids out there playing and like things like that, it ends up, that's also where the basket hoop was back there too. It still is. And so, it gets a lot of traffic back there. And no matter what, the grass would die off and the stones were coming back up through the soil, no matter how many times we did whatever. So I was just like, you know what? We just plant those there. The irises will cover it up. Never have to see ugly grass again. Problem solved. So we did that on Mother's Day. I woke up for Mother's Day. I don't know if you can really see it, but that little yellow thing behind you, yellow is my favorite color. Let me grab it. I woke up on Mother's Day and come here. I don't want to break it. And it's a yellow rose in a globe. And it's a real rose, but it'll stay forever in there like this. Because I always tell my kids, like, I love flowers, but don't bring me a bouquet of flowers. Bring me like a perennial, which comes up every single year. You don't have to plant it again unless, moles or something like that eat the bulbs and stuff of the plant. But give me flowers and things that aren't just gonna, sit in the vase and after a week they're dead and I have to throw them away. I would rather have a plant that I can put outside, and every time I see it, like I have one from Lydia when she was 2-3 years old that she gave me for Mother's Day, that comes up every single year, and it's just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's beautiful. And every time I see it, that's what I remember, her being sweet and bringing it home and bringing it to me. Or like Lydia built a birdhouse. There's Damon, one year, I think he was maybe 4 or 5, he did a handprint, and on the back of it is like a poem about himself and what he loves about his mommy at that age, things like that. And I think Abby did something like that too one year. But I like those kind of things that I don't know, I'm kind of a sentimental weirdo. Little things like that, like I'm more about memories than the cost of things. But I thought this was cute because, one, yellow is my favorite color, and I asked my husband, because I know he was the one that paid for it, I said, which one of our daughters told you that my favorite color was yellow? And he was like, no, I remembered. And I'm like, yeah, sure you did. But yeah, so I mean, it's so beautiful, and I think it's cute, and I get to stick it up, and I remember it all the time. And then they also got me back by my garage. There's a giant flower back there. It's the one with the 4 rose bushes that are 2 are pink and 2 are peach. And it has, I couldn't remember whenever I did a video of it for you guys like 2 years ago, I think now. but it's Indian blankets are in between there. And I think one Indian blanket, I think it's not really, like, it's barely hanging on this year. And Grandma Joanne gave me something else, because where we live, this used to be a riverbed. So once you dig down, it's probably about maybe 3 feet, maybe not even that, maybe a little over 2 feet, you hit bedrock. And I mean, like, you're not talking like little stones. I'm talking about boulders down there. So it's a real pain in the butt if we need to dig anything for any reason, because you need a backhoe to help you move these massive rocks. I'm going to put this I'm going to put it down here on the floor because I'm afraid I'll knock it over and break it or something, and then I'll cry. But so our soil is like really, really good. And Grandma Joanne, where her house is, it's shale and clay underneath. And I guess when her husband and her did the flower beds and stuff in there forever ago, they didn't like remove dirt and then put fresh topsoil and compost and things like that in it. Now, when Grandma Joanne passes, that's my house, and we are going to move into it. It'll probably take me a little bit to walk through those doors, but when we do, she has quite a few plants up there that are really nice, but they're all starting to struggle. And we put, as one thing we did, I think this month, was we put compost and cow manure mixed together into all of our flower beds to hopefully bring up the nutrition level in the soil, because our plants weren't doing very well last year. But she had this one plant that I guess gets like tall yellow spiky things on it, and I guess it doesn't ever do anything besides get leaves on it. So she was like, I want you to take this over to your house, and I want you to see what it does at your house, because coneflowers, she was having a hard time getting coneflowers to stay alive at her house. But I think part of her problem is that she transplants things constantly. Like, once I plant something, like, it's there. I'm not moving it unless I have to. But yeah, so she gave me that, and I put it back there along there where that garage and stuff is, because that one Indian blanket isn't doing really good. And if it dies off, well, then I have another plant there, or it might spring up and, it'll be fine. But anyways, in that flower bed, back to my original point, I had over right after Christmas, I forget where it was, but they had a big sale going on after Christmas. And of course, with Christmas money and stuff, I went out shopping, and their garden statues were 60% off, I think it was. But anyways, I was able to get 2 little fairy houses, which actually I needed 3 because there were 3 spots, but they were the only 2 that they had. So I grabbed them, but they're originally like 30, 40 some dollars, and I think I paid I was under like $10 for these things. So I just picked them up because I was like, heck with it. Like, I'm gonna take the bargain. And that was the only flower bed I had that didn't have any statues in it. Hold on, I need to take a drink. So I put those 2 in, and then on Mother's Day, they got me a little mushroom fairy house to stick back there, because the other 2 I think are flowers, like fairy houses. But it fit perfectly back there, and it worked. So I also got that for Mother's Day, and that was really sweet of them. I don't think I finished my thought about so I got like the big bushels of coneflowers, and this year I had okay, Theo, I got like the coneflowers had spread even more, and I had bushels of them growing up already this big, and I needed to replace all those irises out front, and I thought I was going to have to go out and buy more plants this year. But because I had so many bushels of those coneflowers, I transplanted those and some black-eyed Susans that I had, because those also spread like wildfire. So I just grabbed all those up and put them all out front, and I didn't need to buy any plants at all to do anything. I mean, other than I bought the 2 yellow roses that went out front too. So now there's 4 roses out front, 2 red ones and 2 yellow ones, and then there's a red one on this side, and then there's 2 pink and 2 peach ones out back. So, I mean, it's kind of ridiculous, but I love the knockout roses. They bloom all year long. They are outside. They are blooming now, which I'm surprised they are, because it has been cold and nothing but raining, and you would swear that it is like March right now, not even May. Um, there were some days that it was like 40 some stinking degrees out, and it's just laying down sheets of freaking rain. And then on the days where it's like, I'm not kidding you, I mean, we probably had like 1 day a week where it wasn't raining, but then it was so cloudy and overcast that it was cold out. It wasn't even warm, it was cold. But you know, it is what it is. And then Lydia had her book fair, and we gave her money for that. And then she came home with like a bunch of little trinkets instead of books. And I was like, I give you this money to actually buy books, because she does love to read. But anyway, she bought a bunch of trinkets. And then we took Grandma Joanne and Grandma Sue, which Grandma Sue is actually my mother-in-law. We took them both flower shopping the day before Memorial Day. And my heart kind of got broken, because this is something Grandma Joanne loves to do. And she's been going through her chemo and things like that. And I'll explain what happened with that in a little bit. But I took her there, and we went to a new place, which doesn't really matter. You go to greenhouses around here, and it's not like they have concrete floors. They're all gravel. And last year she was able to use her cane to go with us. This year she needed to use her walker, because we're not sure if it's the amyloid. Well, the neuropathy in her legs it can also be caused by the amyloidosis she has, and it's significantly worse, and she's a lot unsteadier on her feet, and she gets out of breath very, very easily now. So she was loved, on every other time we've taken her. She's had to walk through every single greenhouse at a place and things like that. But this year, I think she made it through 2 of them before she was done. She was tired, and she was exhausted, and she was having a hard time breathing. And this was with me lifting up and helping like pull her walker along, because in that sort of gravel material, they get stuck really easily. So, I was trying to make it so that way, all she had to focus on was walking, and she still had the walker for stability. But I was the one like pulling the walker along, because I know how much she enjoys this stuff, and I was just trying to get her out there to continue enjoying things that she likes to do. But you could see it written all over her face that she was, um, for some reason, she felt embarrassed. I'm like, nobody around here is paying any sort of attention to us at all. They don't even know what's going on. But she's always been a very independent person, and the longer this stuff has been going on, the less independent she is, and it's frustrating the absolute living crap out of her, and I don't blame her. But it breaks my heart to sit there and watch, because I know that she's getting frustrated that she can't do the things that she loves. And she had said to me that she thinks that this might be the last year that she's going to be able to get out there and pick flowers out and things like that. And I'm like over my dead body, is that going to happen? If it is going to be a struggle, I will push you in a wheelchair and get your butt out here to pick your flowers and stuff up. But I know she would hate that as well, because she doesn't like thinking of herself as old, which she just turned 80 years old. And it's like, you are not a 50-year-old woman now that can go out and do stuff like you. I mean, she doesn't look 80 at all. You would never know she was 80 years old. But it breaks my heart that she's struggling. Usually by now she would have all of her plants in the ground. And I was there Friday this week, and I was helping her put some in the ground. And then I went up Saturday, and like the temperature it was like 50 some degrees outside. It was too cold for her to be outside. She didn't want to be outside. So we ended up finishing up doing her garage door and stuff. And it was just too cold for her outside. So she didn't want to be outside. I would have dug the holes, put the plants in. I just needed her to tell me exactly where she wanted them. But it just didn't happen. So it's just heartbreaking knowing that she's getting frustrated with things that she loves to do. But she honestly, she's so fatigued, and she gets out of breath so easily that she's frustrated with herself that she can't just do it, because she wants to do it herself. And it's like, it's okay. You know, as long as, you know, if just watering the plants and watching them grow still brings you joy, like, I'll plant them. I'll put them exactly where you want. Like, I have no problem doing that. As long as it's going to give you joy, I'm going to do it. But, yeah, so we took those guys out flower shopping, and it was difficult. And then, it was the day before. It was the weekend before Memorial Day that we took them flower shopping. Because then that following Monday, it was supposed to be Lydia's field day, where they usually do like obstacle courses, and like some of the senior graduating class will come down and like battle some of the different grade levels and stuff like that. There'll be so many seniors that'll come down each day for the different grades. You know, our school district really tries to make sure that the older kids are intermingled with like the younger kids, and like helping them do certain things. And sometimes they're like, you know, like they'll do like a potato sack race, you know, and have the two of them in there, you know, an older kid with a littler kid in the potato sack, and they're doing the potato sack race, you know, or the legs tied together and doing the hopping with the race and things like that. And it's quite funny to watch. Like, a lot of like us parents are allowed to go over and watch too. And like there was this senior, I think she was a track star or whatever, and they were doing the three-legged race. So, you know, two of their legs are tied together, and it was a senior with I think it would have been fourth grade, because it's Abby's or Lydia's class. Abby's a freshman in high school, for Christ's sakes. But it was fourth grade, so one of Lydia's classmates. But this poor little boy, he was pretty small, and I think he was a track star. I think he's in track or whatever. But they had their legs tied together, and the little boy, he was getting frustrated. So the senior was just like, they must have came up with a plan, and he just lifted him up by his arms, and then he just ran, and the little kid's legs just went with him. So that way it was actually a two-legged race then instead of three-legged race. But it was quite cute. They won the race, and they were both. It was funny. We all laughed. But Lydia ended up missing her field day. No, it couldn't have been Lydia's field day then. It was a fifth grade, because I have a friend that's kid's in fifth grade, and I went with her. So I think it's her kid. Might have been fifth grade. But Lydia ended up waking up on her field trip day, and she was like, "Mom, my throat's sore." So I was like, "All right." And like, just because of this weather, we've gotten strep throat's been going around, like a stomach flu's been going around. Like, it's just been crappy weather. So I took her up to the doctor's. She was fine. And then Abby had her spring concert. And I will put a video of that in here.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. And the Word was God. And the Word was with God. And the Word, and the Word, and the Word, and the Word was God.
And then Lydia also had her spring concert, and I'm sorry, but it's first time, the first year of violin is a little rough. But here is a clip of Lydia's violin concert. And it's always so much fun for me to go up there and watch my girls doing things that they love to do. That's always a big pleasure of mine. Abby went back to her knee doctor on the 23rd of this month, and she's now able to finally bend her leg completely while she's walking and doing whatever. As long as she's on even ground, she can bend it. And she's still in her big adjustable brace that, lets you only bend it a certain degree or whatever. So, she is able to bend it all now and walk around like a normal person. And he gave us, the next brace that she's supposed to go down in, and she goes back now in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, she goes back down. But from her appointment to when her next appointment is, it would be 3 weeks difference. And he said, when she comes in the next time, he wants her in the new brace. But because she was just starting to walk around, he didn't want to push her into the new brace too soon. So, sometime this week, we're going to put her in her new brace. And I'm sorry, I'm a little stuffy. I don't know what that's going on, but like I just woke up today and I don't feel sick or anything, but I was outside whenever I took the dogs out, and I think like it's just allergies kind of flared up, which isn't surprising me now because it didn't rain yesterday and it didn't rain today, so I'm sure pollen is probably through the roof. So that's always fun. And then we pulled all the shutters down at Grandma Joanne's house, and we brought them over here to my house. And then I scrubbed them all clean, and these things were faded beyond get out. So I repainted them, and they were all brand spanking new. And we have them all hung up except for 3 windows. And they're the second story windows left that we got to put those ones back up. And that'll be done. And it was worth every penny because there were a couple shutters that they're constantly in shade that they didn't really need pulled down, but I wasn't sure the color was going to match because she has hunter green shutters on hers, and this color was hunter green. But she didn't realize that there's like a hunter green that leans to the blue side and a hunter green that leans to the yellow side. So we brought them here, and I started painting them, and I think I got through 2 sets that would have belonged on the garage, and I was just like this is a major difference. I don't know if the other ones are going to be fine. So I called Grandma Joanne, talked to her, and she's like, well, what do you think? Like, I've already painted 2 sets. Like, it's like a done deal. Like, we might have to take down the other ones you don't want to and paint those so that way they match. I was like, but let me finish the ones with the garage first. And then I finished with the ones with the garage, let those dry. And then the following day, I took them back over to her house and I put them back up on her garage because the garage also had a set that constantly were in shade that weren't faded at all. So they didn't need to be taken down. And I put them up and then we stood back and I was like, you can't even tell the difference. Like the only difference is the ones that weren't painted are dull versus the ones that are newly painted or were painted with like a semi-gloss plastic. It's paint that was made for plastic. And you can see that there's different in the sheen. But other than that, like they're far enough apart that you can't tell that like when they right next to each other, you can tell that they're different hunter green. But how far apart they are, you can't tell. And the other set of shutters she has, there's no other set of shutters around it, so you're not going to notice the difference. So we didn't have to pull those down, and she was just tickled pink. She couldn't believe how good they turned out, and it just made her day. And so it was worth it. And then on Memorial Day, my parents had a cookout, and we went up there for a couple hours and got to see all my nieces and nephews. And my sister Charlie is having another baby. She is due Thanksgiving Day. So we will see how that goes. And I'm excited. I think she finds out pretty soon what she's having, whether or not it's a girl or a boy. And she already has Vincent, and that's her only child right now. So I'm hoping that she gets a little girl. So because, I babysit him. I have a stinking hair here. But I babysit him, and he is wild, and he is crazy, and I really hope she has a nice, calm little girl, so that way, I'm not pulling my hair out with 2 rambunctious little boys. Lydia went on her field trip. She went to Lincoln's Caverns, and, Lydia loves gems or rocks, anything of that sort of nature. So they went panning for gems. That was right up her alley. She brought them home and couldn't wait to show me all about her gems that she got. Abby went on a field trip. On her field trip, she went to Knoebels. Tomorrow is their last day of school. So then summer begins, and I can't wait for that. And she went to Knoebels. It's an amusement park. It's not like a big amusement park around here, but it is an amusement park. And before she went, I asked her doctor, I was like, is she going to be allowed to ride the rides? Like, is everything going to be fine? And he's like, oh, yeah, she's fine. Just like if there's any uneven ground or whatever, lock your brace and things like that, because he doesn't want the knee to buckle underneath her. But Abby had a blast. She came home with a bunch of little souvenirs from that amusement park. So she had a blast. But I think that's everything I have to tell you guys this month. So do me a favor. If there's anything I can improve, if there's anything you want to see, let me know down below in the comments, because I love giving you guys stuff you want to see. Let me know if you want me to do 2 videos a month, like one on the 1st and one on the 15th. If you want me to do one every 2 weeks, or so on and so forth, or just keep doing them once a month or whatever, just let me know. And I'm just now realizing that somebody got something black over there on my wall. So I'm going to get off here, and I'm going to go clean that spot, because now that I see it, it's going to drive me insane. And I need to take care of that. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys either in 2 weeks or on the 15th or still once a month. So bye.